Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of the North Prairie Restoration. You can see the areas along the road. I did the road work, when was that, 2 days ago or yesterday? I did some yesterday and some 2 days ago. And I sprayed the brambles along the sides and the weeds on the road itself. And you can see brambles are already dying, so are the weeds in the middle of the road, and all of the grass is just fine. What I sprayed was 2,4-D, and 2,4-D kills broadleaf stuff, but not grass. And today I just sprayed a bunch of that in the Prairie Restoration right here. So let's get in there and I'll show you what I did. The majority of what I sprayed was garlic mustard like this. There's just tons of it in here, but there's less than there was last year because I sprayed last year as well. Pretty much everything in here that's not grass will end up dying at one point or another because this is being restored to a prairie. And once this is back to being all grass, then I'll plant wildflowers and stuff amongst the grass. But it's got to be all grass before that, otherwise I have no way to get rid of the garlic mustard and other invasive stuff in here, including little trees and stuff like that. This area right through here is getting pretty good. Most of this is nurse grass, which is perennial rye, and at some point, I've already begun, I'll be changing that over to native prairie grasses like this right here. These are warm season grasses, so you're not going to be able to see what they are except for the seed heads. This is Indian grass right here. Collect a few of these seeds and drop them as we go. There is Indian grass, little blue stem, big blue stem, prairie drop seed, side oats, grandma. There's just all kinds of native prairie grasses growing in here, and eventually they will kill off the perennial rye, and this will be a restored prairie, but it's in the early stages. The forest is still dying. The forest that's here right now was not here 100 years ago. We have aerial maps from 1930, so 90 years ago, and this was prairie all the way down to the bottom of the hollow. There was only a few of the bigger Oak Savanna trees here. Some of those are still alive, probably about half. I've cleared around most of those and gave them light again. Some of them are dead. They're in the middle of the forest. At the end of this walk, I could show you one that's in the middle of the forest. I don't think it's dead yet, but it's on its way. Got a woodpecker hiding on the back side of that tree right there. These trees, I would say 90% of them are dead, and they're dropping all this stuff. I really have to get in here this year and dice some of this stuff up. These trees were killed back the first time about 4 years ago, and those are already dropping their tops. And this stuff is really rotten. I don't know about this particular one, but as you walk through here, this stuff just crunches and goes right back into the ground. You can see that the grasses are growing right over a lot of this stuff. So where possible, this stuff is just going to rot on the ground. But I got to get in here and dice up like some of this stuff like this. It's just a maze of vines and all that stuff, and I got to get that cut so that I can get grass planted in there, and so that I can get in there and tend to it. This little chunk of the restoration, for now, it ends right where the grass ends. You can kind of see it right through there. The rest of that is all getting restored too. I'll be taking out the majority of these trees, but I'll be keeping the big walnuts, at least for now. And this will all be prairie grasses at some point. Drop some of these Indian grass seeds down. You can see this right here. I believe this was Indian grass too. Let's see what it looks like. Yes, this is Indian grass right here as well. These native grasses, you could see all the different patches. I'll come in here later in the summer and show you what it looks like in here. It's just beautiful, and there's tons of animals in here as well. It kind of looks like you're destroying the place at this point in a restoration, but oak savannas have a huge amount of wildlife in them. You could see this area right here. This is all nurse grass through here, everything that's green. And this stuff here and this stuff here is all prairie grass. At some point, the prairie grass will take the whole place over, and this will be all prairie grass. The end product in here, 90% of these trees will be just completely gone. This will be prairie grass, and say a tree every 40 or 50 feet. So this might have 10 trees in this whole area, and those will be bur oak, black oak, and a few walnuts, because we got some big walnuts growing in here. Every year for the last 4 years, I've been spreading this perennial rye seed in areas like this. I'll kick the leaves out of the way and toss some seeds there, and we get patches like this. Or I'll come through with the prairie grass seeds and do the same thing. I'll just move some of this out of the way, toss some seeds down, step them in, and then we get these prairie grasses growing all over the place. You could see this tree right here had a red flag on it at one time, so I hacked and squirted it, and now it's down. I have to go through here with my new brush whacker. That'll take this down easy. Get a lot of this stuff cut down to the ground and make it easier to walk in here. The animals have been walking in here a lot. As I was going around spraying, I could see that a whole bunch of the tufts of grass were bitten down real short like that, which means the deer are eating this stuff. Now this place is just a total mess right now with all the garlic mustard, but you can see some of the grasses in between. As the garlic mustard dies back, garlic mustard puts out something with their roots that will kill plants next to it, or at least stunt their growth. It's called allelopathy, I believe. They put off an allelopathic substance, just like walnut trees do. So once the garlic mustard is killed back, I killed this back last year, but they put out so many seeds every year, and the seeds can remain viable for up to 20 years. But that's really not going to happen. After maybe 3 or 4 years, this stuff should be easily under control. And by that point, I could probably just get in here and yank the stuff. It yanks out pretty easy, but there's no way I'm going to get in here and yank all this stuff out. The vast majority of the trees in this area are birches and aspen, and there was a lot of ash in here, but the emerald ash borer killed all those. So the birches and the aspen are right about at the end of their life. Those grew up once this was turned into a farm in the 30s. All of the birch and aspen just started growing because it was on the hillside like this, and they could only farm up on the top. And they put out any fires that started right away. And without the fires to stop all the weed trees, this went back to woods. But this was all prairie grasses not that long ago. So I started spraying today at about a little after 9, probably 9:30, and it is 3 o'clock right now. So it was a fairly long day of spraying. But I got all of the garlic mustard. At least I think I got all of the garlic mustard. So now I got to come through, and wherever there's thin areas that don't have much grass, like right in there, I got to come in and toss some seed in there. I'll toss perennial rye in the bigger areas like that, and I'll go around and hand plant the prairie grasses. You could see this area is a little bit older. this is a fresh tree right here, but some of these trees have been here for a few years, and a lot of them are so rotten they just collapse when you step on them, like that one. So for the most part, a lot of this stuff is just going to be mulch. I'll just leave it here and let it rot. But I do have to get in here and hack out some of the stuff like this so I can get in there and do some work. All right, we are just below the round pen up there, and the garlic mustard pretty much stops right here. So that's as far as I go with the spraying. Last year I had to spray all the way down to the rock road down there, but I just went down there and there's no garlic mustard down there, so I think I have a good handle on it. I'll come back in here in a few days, and the stuff I sprayed today will be all withered up, and I'll be able to see any stuff that I missed and go around and spot spray that. Within a year or two, I don't think I'll have any more garlic mustard in this area. You could see this bunch of grass that was all bitten off. Pretty cool. And that wasn't horses, that had to have been deer. This right in here is where I spotted that baby fawn. That was the first year I had the channel. I can link to that. I was just walking through here. This is like a deer run right here. Probably can't see it, but this has been here forever. It goes right through here. I was walking on this. That was before any of this was restored. It was right when I was first starting this. And the little fawn was right over here somewhere. Yeah, I'll link to that either above or in the description below. Okay, I think I got pretty much everything, but I'll come back in here, like I said, in 3-4 days and see if I missed anything, and I'll touch up spray at that time. At some point this year, I really need to get in here with both the brush whacker and the chainsaw. And what I'll do is take out the stuff like this, at least get it down to the ground where it's going to rot. It'll sit up in the air like this for many years without rotting. But if it's on the ground, the grass will cover it up like you've seen with the other stuff, and it'll stay moist, and this will be rotten in no time. And the brush cutter, I have tons of stuff like this, little trees that popped up and stuff. I just need to go in here and kind of mow this place out and get it clear so I can walk through here. All right, well, it's raining right now, so I'm probably going to have to end this video. What did I spray? I sprayed 2, 4, 6 or 5.5 tanks. So that's 11 gallons of 2,4-D. And like I said earlier, 2,4-D will kill broadleaf stuff, but not grasses. So stuff like this, where I sprayed that area, the garlic mustard is going to die, and the grass is actually going to do better because I also put fertilizer in the tanks. You could see this right here. That was likely a weed in seed, where I yanked out a weed and tossed some seed in there. I did a lot of that around the bases of the trees. Yeah, it's hard to explain how awesome an Oak Savanna looks, but that's what most like city parks are based on. It's widely scattered trees with grass underneath it. They have regular lawn grass and they mow it, but they both look the same from a distance. Yeah, you could see like pathways of grass like right here, and going up that way, going up that way. And then also pathways of like brambles and garlic mustard and other weeds. I sprayed all the garlic mustard and the brambles, and when I come back through here, I'm going to be tossing perennial rye seed in, especially in these areas. Yeah, some of these trees are just completely buried. Good fertilizer. Okay, it's raining fairly good right now. I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. I'm at the far end. That's the rock road right there. And that drops around and circles up. This area that it contains is probably about 2 acres maybe. And when I'm done with this restoration, there will probably be 20 trees left. There's hundreds and hundreds of them now. There'll probably be 20 trees left when I'm done. The vast majority of these are already dead, and I'll be taking out the vast majority of those except for the bigger walnuts. It's going to be really awesome when it's done, and like I said, it's a very endangered habitat, and it'll be really nice to get it restored. All right, I'm going to have to get out of here before I get soaking wet. I'll be back here in a couple weeks and show this again, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.